Well, another 6 AM start on this. So, been to the shops, got some red nail varnish, pillar box red. We're going to whack that on the meter arm and hopefully we can get this thing back together. So, first thing I want to do is I'll put you on the stand. I'm going to put some paper underneath and just gently try and scrape off the rest of the paint that's left. So it's probably just going to fall off. And then we can give this a douse and then I'll leave this drying for... Right, so let's carefully slip that under the needle. Right, let's get the rest of the paint off. So let's put that carefully under there. Really do probably a bit of paper under there as well. I want something that's not going to soak up. Nail varnish. Yeah, that's got a nice double layer on there. All we're going to do carefully add one coat of nail varnish. Then I'm going to remove, if I can do it, the kitchen roll. Leave that on there to dry. Looks like we're going to have to give it a couple of coats. Yeah, it's going to need a couple of coats. So I shall leave that drying for the day and then give that another coat. And then it should be about done. But what I don't want to do is have the paper stick to the nail varnish when it's drying. It's a very fiddly process. Right, I'm going to leave that to dry for the day and I'll see you tomorrow. Well, it's the next day now and it's time for the second coat to go on. So let's carefully get this lined up. I've not got any coming on. Hang on. There we go. Right, so what I've got to carefully do now is move that over a bit. Yeah, I'm not sure that's getting any on. Hang on, let me go and get my stick that I normally use. Yeah, this doesn't seem to be going on very well. Right, I can hold that. That's got it. That's better. Right. So what we've got to carefully do now is move this off of the... Come on. There we go. Right. That is now completely coated and ready to go. So I'll go and put that to dry now. And we've removed that carefully without getting any of that on the scale. And then that can go back in. You can't really see in this light. Hang on. Let me get rid of the nail varnish that I've got in here. It's still hard to see in the light. There you go. and you can see the redness of it. And then that should be nice and easy to see. Right, we'll let that dry. So on the screen at the moment you can see the original meter arm with the paint flaking off. Now obviously we've removed that, we got the red pillar box red nail varnish which we put on. It's not a bad colour match, to be honest with you. It's as close as I can get it, and you know, bear in mind I'm not doing a restoration on this, I'm doing a repair. But as I was in there, I wanted to make it look nice because there's no way I'd put anything back together in that state. So we've done the arm, but obviously there is a big difference between a restoration specialist and a repair technician. So that is the closest I can get it. So hopefully that'll be good, but at least now it's all one colour. It looks nice, and there's no chance now of the rest of that paint falling off and then getting stuck in all the meter mechanism. It's all gone, it's been cleaned, and it's nice. So today what I'm going to do is give this area inside the meter housing a quick clean up. Get rid of some of this glue that's along the top because I've got to put tape back on to seal the meter on. Give it a nice clean because no one's been in there since 1970, whenever this was made, I forget the date now. And then we'll see about fitting the meter back in and re-soldering the wires on. And then it should be ready for a test. So it's a bit hard to work round you. Let's get a good smear of polish in here. There's not much dirt coming out, which is pretty good. I suppose it's been sealed, so that's been its saving grace. Right, let me finish doing that because I need to move you to get my arm in there, and I'll be back. So here's the diagram of the rear of my meter. So we've got green wire goes to the top terminal of the op standby switch. We've got a grey wire goes to the bottom terminal of the SSB AM switch. And then we've got a green wire which goes through a 39 picofarads capacitor, which ultimately ends up at the load tuning knob. And that's mine. Now on Dave's unit we've got a green wire going to the bottom terminal of the SSB AM switch, whereas obviously mine was grey, Dave's is green. We've then got a grey wire going to the top of the op standby switch, whereas I had a green wire. And then whereas I've got a green wire here going off to the load knob, Dave's just got a grey wire. So it appears with Bremi, depending on what day of the week they manufactured, it's what actual wire they use. But just remember, if you're looking at the back of the meter as it is like so, you've got one at the top, one to the left, one to the right at the bottom. The one at the top goes to the load, the one on the bottom right goes to the op standby switch, and the one on the bottom left goes to the SSB AM switch. Now on Dave's unit, as you're looking at the back, the green wire, which is connected to the SSB AM one, he hasn't got top and bottom, he's got left and right. So it goes to the left, okay? And then on the op standby one, it goes to the right, which is the grey wire, which goes to the bottom right of the PCB. I hope this makes sense. And then the grey wire here is the one that runs off down through a capacitor, goes to the back of the load. So yeah, good old Bremi. Right, I'm gonna just offer this switch up and see whether I need to fix it in the housing to solder it, or whether it's better to have it outside, maybe laying on a piece of kitchen roll on the top of here and solder the wires on, then put it in. I've just got to work out which is the easiest way to get at the back of the PC. I had to get a glamorous assistant to help me, so you couldn't see anything, because unfortunately we had to get both of our hands in there to do that. So anyway, it's back in. So I'm going to put a few cable ties around here if I've got some, just sort the wiring out, and then we'll fire this thing up, just check the meter movement. Oh, Jesus, right, let's go for it. Now there should be a piece of spiral binding fitted here, which you will have seen in the original video. Now the problem I had once in the past was when I was working on these transformers, these wires that go down into the transformer, I don't know whether they're just pushed in or not, but I was fiddling around with some wires on another transformer and one of the wires popped out the transformer and that was it. So I don't know whether they're wound in under pressure and sort of gripped or whether they're soldered. That I don't know. And that's why I'm not putting the spiral binding back on, because this is the only transformer there is. And if I really have to pull this wiring around to fit that spiral binding and one of these wires comes off, that's it. That is the end of this transformer, and it is also the end of this amplifier. So I'm only going to put these wires on gently just to tidy it up, and then if Dave wants to sort them out, he's more than welcome, but I'm not touching them because it's not my unit. I don't want to have done all this work and then it breaks due to one of these wires coming out because of that spiral binding. So yeah, I'm leaving that off. So I'm just going to put the one cable tie on here because I'm assuming Dave's going to put the binding on because he wants it on. So just to hold the wires together, and then he can carefully snip that off and replace it. But now, the next thing to do now is I'll have to get set up for a test. I've got someone coming shortly, so I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that. I might have to leave the video here and I'll have to fire it up in the next one. So anyway, the meter's all back in. So I'll see you in the next video and we'll fire it up.